Hey, what up? It's your boy here, and today we're gonna be playing some Ulala Idle Adventure. So, let's start it up. And you can see I already have a character here. I don't really care about it, but we're gonna start a new character. Alright, so first things first. You're gonna get when you start a new account, you're gonna get this hunting season thing. Now, ideally you're gonna start at 15 days left in the hunting season. Unfortunately, the hunting seasons start every 3 days now instead of every day like it used to do. So we're just gonna pop into season whatever this one, 42. Now you're gonna get to select your classes. So there are 4 different DPS classes, 2 of which are on this first guy. So you can here select if you want to be an assassin or a hunter. Assassin is very high single target damage, especially later on, but he's notoriously bad with area of effect damage, which is going to hinder you in progress on a lot of bosses. I'd say Hunter is probably the most versatile class up there with Mage in terms of single target and AoE versatility. Warlock, of course, is also really good, but the AoE requires such a specific setup that it kind of ruins any single target damage. So it's not like hunters and mages can have a good AoE spell and still have a good single target rotation, so they can do mixed damage. Whereas Warlock is like committed to single target or committed to AoE, which isn't necessarily bad. It's probably one of the better classes, but Hunter and Mages are definitely the most versatile. So those are Assassin, Hunter. So if you click on this one, you get the chance to be a Shaman, which is a healer, and the Warlock that I was just talking about. So again, Warlock, probably later on in the game, one of the best PvE classes. They're pretty good for PvP, but PvE they just destroy because they have like such good specific single target or AoE that they're like just an insane damage. But again, they can only go down one route. And in PvP, the AoE doesn't work as well as you wish it would, and you can easily counter it with one AoE heal or whatever. So it's PvP, they're not as strong. PvE, probably one of the strongest. Shaman, arguably the most free to play healer there is. They have really good single target heals, really good AoE heals, a couple little niche heals that like or spells. So the main difference between shamans and druids, which I'll talk about in a second, is that they have mostly instantaneous heals. So druids have overtime heals, and they'll either be casting it for a long time or cast it and it will heal like X amount over 5 seconds or over 6 seconds, which can be good if you don't want to overheal, but can also be bad if you get like a really big burst from the boss and you need to heal up quick before his next attack. With a druid, you'll be stuck there doing small heals over time, and maybe he gets his next attack off in time, especially with like stegosauruses and stuff, that every time they kill somebody, they regain their energy so they can throw another special attack pretty much instantly. The shaman's going to be much better to fight against that. And also, they don't need as high level of spells, which I'll talk about once I like open up the game, to be as effective, I guess. But druids arguably are better if you're willing to put in the money and or are very lucky. Then we have over here druids, which I was just talking about. Again, same thing as shamans, but like a little more over time, and not as it doesn't have as many like niche spells, more just like good shields, good heals, not so much of these other like specific scenario type spells. And we have finally the last damage class, which is the mage. Now, I personally love the mage. I think in terms of AoE, it's probably one of the best. It has an amazing AoE. in both Meteor and Tornado, which can be set up really well, really easily. I mean, granted, you do need them in legendary skills, but I mean, I'd argue you need everything in legendary skills once you get far enough into the game, unless you're willing to just idle for like a week to level up. But super good single target. Mages have a huge range in damage they can output. A lot of their damage, especially if you're running Scorch, relies on crits. So if you're critting, you can deal like, you know, 2/3 the amount, I mean 2/3 more the damage that you would deal if you hit no crits. So they can either output a lot or a little damage, which is just fine in terms of PvE, because in PvE you get as many tries against the boss as you want. So you can just give your maximum possible output, although you won't probably hit it every time. Those times that you do, you're going to be destroying the boss. So Mage is really strong PvP, PvE. Overall, great class. So now we have over here the two tanks, and there's a lot of debate on which one's better. I mean, actually, not that much. Most people say Warrior straight up better, which it is for specifically tanking single target hits. So both tanks have a spell that boosts attack to the rest of the team and themselves, and Warriors have a better one, not significantly, but also not necessarily super insignificantly. I mean, it's noticeable potentially, but Gladiators have the ability to output damage themselves a lot better than Warriors. Gladiators also have a higher attack speed, which means that they can rotate through spells and get, say, interrupts or stuns or debuffs off a lot faster and in a better window of time, so you can time it better. If you're running Warrior, you're going to get one spell off per spell the boss throws out, whereas Gladiators can get maybe two spells off per spell the boss throws out. So maybe not as great of a tank. They rely on heals instead of shields. Shields can go, Warriors shield, they can go above maximum health, so you can have a shield and not be wasting damage that you can take, for example. But unless you're facing specific super high single target damage bosses, like for example the Yak or the Rhino, they're honestly probably about the same. Gladiators a little better for AoE bosses like the White Wolf King, which you're going to be seeing in the second continent. He'll spin around and do a good amount of damage and heal a lot from it. So honestly, either way you go, you'll be just fine. Now, in terms of if you're going to be spending money on this game, you should, if you want to spend a lot of money and you're fine with that, then go DPS class, because those are the classes that are going to benefit the most from high spending. Specifically, Hunter is going to unlock an evolution of their skill. So every class gets one skill that you can evolve if you get lucky or put enough money into the game. And Hunter's is arguably one of the best ones. It takes a pretty decent dealing damage spell and turns it into a like pretty much a always use damage spell. And it's just, I mean, I have it. I don't think it's necessarily that much better than like any other classes spells, but everybody else seems to think it's just like amazing. You go god tier, whatever. So if you want to spend a lot of money, go Hunter or Assassin or Warlock or Mage. One of those four, you're going to be getting the most bang for your buck in terms of what you can do with that money. A healer, if they're way better than the rest of their team and they're over healing, whoop-de-doo, you're literally wasting heals. Tanks, if you're surviving with 100% HP every time, like, what are you contributing? Which is, like, if you're going to spend money and go tank, go Gladiator, because then at least you can contribute to damage output. But the main thing is, if you can kill the boss while still remaining alive, then you're good. So to kill the boss, you need DPS. So if you're gonna spend money, most likely go DPS. The cheapest then classes, of course, then would be the healers and the tanks. And I think tanks are probably the cheapest because you just sit there and get, like, if the healer is a good healer, they'll heal you up to full health. You don't necessarily need to have the best spells to tank because you're going to survive most single target hits. It's just being able to get back to full health in a reasonable amount of time, which is up to the healer. So if you have a good healer, honestly, the tank can spend no money and still be just fine. But you can, of course, play free to play with whatever class you want. It's not like you're going to be bad. There are plenty of people that play free to play. I have 7 characters, 3 of which are free to play, and I'm in 99%. It's definitely possible. You'll be fine. And so, since I just brought it up, 99% is like, so in this season that I'm about to start, I'll just, I don't care about this account, so I'll just pick whatever. I'll go Assassin just for the heck of it. So, character name. Let's go Miracles. I don't know why. So you're going to open up to this screen like this. So when every class starts, they start off looking like pretty much the same. They have a spear and close to no clothes on. And these like 3 random people are just going to talk to you and be like, hey, let's go defeat this tyrant dragon, which, I mean, is not even that far into the game. So instantly you want to press challenge, which is going to trigger a boss fight. And that's how you're going to progress in the game, is beating bosses. So the little red T-Rex head with it says fighting under it right now. Every time you press that, it's going to trigger a boss fight, and you're going to be able to challenge the boss. Now, don't keep challenging bosses if you're not going to beat it, because then you're wasting XP, and you're not going to be leveling up, because unless you win the battle, you don't get XP for it. So if you're stuck at a boss, just log off the game for a couple hours if you're early on in the game. If you're later on in the game, you should already know this, but log off, for maybe a day or whatever, and you'll be fine. So we just got our first couple pieces of equipment. You just click there, equip, equip, equip. Wow, look at us. We're so advanced. We have some equipment. Now, I'll go down the other buttons there are. So quick battle, we unlock at level 7. And that's going to be, you're going to get 1 daily free quick battle, which is going to give you 2 hours of experience rewards. And if you pay, so there's 1 free one, and then you can pay 50 pearls for the next one, 2 for 100, 3 for, I think it's 200, and then 3 more for 500. So really expensive the more you use them, and that's just per day. So every day it'll reset, and you can do the same ones. I'd recommend, if you're going to spend some money in this game, definitely do the 50 pearl ones, because it's going to, if everybody in your party uses it, give you 8 hours more of experience, which if you do, you do that every day for a week, then 8 times 7 is, I'm good at math. Yikes. 5 times 40, 48, 56 hours, which is slightly over 2 days. So in a week, you're now 2 days ahead. In 4 weeks, a month, you're now 8 days ahead. So an entire week. So it's like, you're getting pretty much like a third of a day for every day that you pay that. And 50 pearls is honestly like really small amount. So if we go here and you click on the upper right hand corner over here in passes, you get, so any of these passes that you buy, you'll get 300 pearls off the bat, and then 80 pearls daily. So you're pretty much paying for that quick battle every day. And with the paid quick battles, so don't use them right away, obviously. Wait till you're stuck on a boss or something. And every time you use a paid quick battle, you'll get 10% increase attack and I think armor. Don't quote me on that. But at least 10% increase attack. So I'm just going to put on some new gear here so I can progress a little better. Um, so you get 10% increase in attack, which means you can now beat the bosses easier, etc., etc. Now, a little more specific on the bosses. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Actually, let's go through the buttons again. More. So then we're going to have the team button over here below the challenge. And if you're not on a team already, then you're going to instantly be brought into this screen, which allows you to look for teams. It's going to sort them by who's closest to your like current level. So I'll just join a random team. I feel bad for them because I just brought them down from whatever rainforest to Toto Plain or Primitive Plains 9, whatever. Brought them down in progress, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Anyway, so we can go to my team. Obviously, I'm in somebody else's team right now, but I can make my own team. I would recommend, even if you're going to play free to play, as long as you have like a spare, like hour a day, make 3 characters right away. That's the only amount you're allowed to right away is 3 characters. Once you hit level 35, you can make 4 characters. 45, 5 characters. 55, 6 characters. Somehow you can get 7. Maybe it's 65. I don't remember. Actually, I can just log out and check real quick. If you reach 45 is, okay, you can make, well, I already have a 30, so 35 is 4, 45 is 5, 50 is 6, 55 is 7 characters. So I'd make those 3 right away and put them all on the same team. That way, you're pushing with yourself, especially if you're going to go free to play. Don't rely on other people to log on and know what they're doing, because most of the time they won't and they don't know what they're doing. So you just make your own team, you bring on one person. Hopefully, if you're lucky, they're going to blow some money on this game. If not, then, oh well. If you think you can find a partner that's going to, put some money into the game, then make 1 DPS class, 1 healer, 1 tank. That way the other person that is spending money is a DPS, and again, they'll get the most bang for their buck, and you'll be able to, advance a lot better. If you're getting a tank that's paying a lot, well, congratulations, you're surviving a fight that you can't kill the boss. And if you get to 60 seconds of the boss, like if the timer goes up to 60 seconds, so if you click on this experience bar right below the map, there's a timer. And if that reaches 60 seconds, then the boss goes into frenzy mode and they deal 2,000% more damage and instantly refill their energy after every spell cast. So even if it's a single target spell, he's throwing it out every time he attacks. So you're pretty much going to get wiped. The most I've survived past frenzy is 71 seconds, and that's because I had really well-timed toys, which is completely different conversation. That's like 50 levels away. But oh yeah. So pretty much like, okay. So here, real quick, I unlocked this. So we'll just use it right away because I don't care. Again, I don't really care about this account at all. So, wow. Look, I got to level 11. That's 2 hours of progress. So now here's the second one. 10% damage. No 10% armor. Okay. It's a good thing I didn't say that for sure. So you can see how many times you can use it in the ranks. Whatever. It costs 50 pearls. I don't have 50 pearls. I'm not going to use it. You can also, once you hit level 10, you can transcend, which is when your character is actually going to turn into, like, an assassin or whatever class you picked. Before that, they're like an apprentice, whatever. So we have now an official assassin. We're going to get some fresh new gear all put on for us. Yay, we're going to get some new skills. So if you go over here on the skills button, you can equip skills. You'll unlock skill slots as you level up. You'll be able to put AFK skills, which is really important to have different from your main skills, because AFK, you're going to want to do as much AoE damage as possible, because the AFK mobs are literally just going to be, well, right now it's 3, but later on you'll be facing like 6 or 8 little like small health minions, and the faster you beat them, the faster you get XP. So if you look on the XP bar, it says max. That max is there because we're beating them under 20 seconds. If you beat the minions in under 20 seconds, then you're going to get the maximum amount of XP. Now, that says a couple things. First is, while you're AFK, you're going to want to be pushed up far enough that you're beating them at about 19 seconds. Because if you're beating them in 4 seconds, but your AFK and your XP is 62 experience per minute, then you're losing experience because you could be getting a lot more if you're pushed up far enough that it's taking you longer to beat them. Because the farther up you're pushed up, the more XP per minute you're getting. Now, while you're online, it doesn't matter because you'll actually run through the little mobs and you'll get the experience. You'll see every 4, well, not every 4 seconds, but every, I think, like 14 seconds, counting the time it takes to get from mob to mob, I'll get 31 experience, 2 shells. 31 experience, 2 shells. But while I'm offline, it's not going to run through these little battles. It's just going to take my experience per minute and then multiply that by however much time I'm offline. So if I'm not maximizing the experience per minute while I'm AFK, then I'm losing experience. So you want to push up as far as possible, be beating those little AFK mobs in about 19 seconds per minute. 19 seconds to really get the most experience per minute that you can. Now, I just got pre-register gift, which I think everybody gets. Bunch of great stuff. So, if we go here, change this to level too low. Okay, so there are a couple buttons here that I'll talk about on another account where I can actually use them. But here's the main kind of like crafting and like getting stuff other than just, the fighting place. So if you go to your camp, you go to storage, a lot of the main questions is, can I use equipment? Is there a use for equipment that I'm no longer able to use? Yes, you smelt it. You press the smelt button twice. Smelts them all. It smelts everything that's worse than what you're wearing. So don't worry about accidentally smelting your level 20, legendary weapon. You can personally smelt it, but you have to actually want to and try to. If you just press the general smelt button down here in the corner, it's going to smelt everything that's worse than what you're currently wearing. So don't worry about it. Then at level 29, you can craft. And again, I'll talk about that in my other account where I can actually do that. Food. What is food good for? Capturing pets. Eating it. If you want to eat it, it can give you a damage boost. This one gives you 10% attack because it's top class, which is essentially epic. So they have burnt, which is 1%. They have, I can't show you because I can't cook. They have burnt, which is 1%. They have mediocre is 3%. They have some it's blue. It gives you 5%. Top class purple gives you 10%, and then if you get really lucky, it's a 1% chance to get this. You get heavenly delicacy. It's 15%, but if you're getting a heavenly delicacy, definitely don't use it to boost your attack because it only lasts 1 hour. Use it to get the pets because the pets are going to boost your attack forever. As long as you're using them. So, most common question I've gotten pretty much is, they just started the game. They're like, oh, how do I hatch my egg? It says feature not available. Well, unfortunately, you have to reach level 16 to be able to hatch your egg. Now, that's probably one of the bigger boosts in damage you'll get early on is being able to use your pets because you'll go from having 0 counter to bosses to being able to do 20% extra damage to bosses, up to some pets give 40% extra damage and armor to bosses, and this time I do mean armor. Gems we'll talk about in the other account, and others are just going to be miscellaneous stuff. Like these are crafting or gear shards that you use to craft. So right under the passes button up here in the right hand corner, we're going to have season bonus. So you can see I'm at 47%. Terrible, but I literally just started. So 5 days, if you're pacemaker, which means you are the top team in the entire season, which you're pretty much not going to be able to do unless you're willing to throw down money and intimidate the other people trying to go for it. Like, you need to make sure they know you're going to spend some bucks and you're going to go for it, and they don't have a chance. Otherwise, you're going to be competing with people. Some people drop tens of thousands of dollars. Don't ask me why, but they do it just for some simple rewards. So, that's, if you're pacemaker, congratulations. You should already know what you're doing, so you won't need to be watching this video. Now, everybody, I think, can make 99%. So, we'll talk about the 99% rewards. You're going to get 20 rare fossils, which are used to upgrade your pet attributes. Like, you'll get, like, better assist, better guardian, better symbiosis, whatever. They're used to upgrade your pets. You'll get level random gems, which are used to increase your own attributes. You can put them into your gear, and some shells, which are really useful for tempering, yada yada. So we'll look at the 95%. It's slightly lower, still the same rewards, just in lesser amounts. Same thing with the 80%, 50%, and less than 50%. Same rewards, just in much lesser amounts. 10-day rewards, same thing, but this time you're getting some starfish. You're getting slightly more. You're going to get 40 instead of 20. You're going to get 5 instead of 4. And I think the gems are going to be higher level. You can go down those yourself, look at them. It's not a huge deal, honestly, until it comes to 15-day rewards. Now, if you're a hunting king, you're going to get this dragon egg, which allows you to unlock some sexy looking pets. Now, again, if you're watching this video, you're probably not going to be making hunting, whatever they're called, hunting pacemaker, but you could be making 99%. So the reason I say 15 days is important because, look, honestly, shells you can get by idling. Gems you can get by idling. Rare fossils you can get by idling. What you can't get by idling are Dragon Balls. Dragon Balls are not useful yet. They haven't implemented it into the game yet, but it's a toy loved by legendary pets. You can collect a certain amount. I think it's 7, and you can use them to summon some legendary pets. So while they're not implemented into the game yet, for some reason they have them, but like there's a bug, you can't use them. They are going to be useful later on. So try to push for these. Now, if you make 95%, you're going to get 2, which is all right. You're still going to get the same amount of energy points, hunting badge, everything else. Again, lower amounts of shells, gems, same amount of starfish, which is nice. 1,000, I think it's just 1,000. Oh, it's 1,000 all the way down. Oh, unless you're below 50%, which, like, if you honestly put in more than 5 minutes into the game every day, you're not going to be below 50%. So don't even worry about that. So honestly, not a huge deal unless you're, trying to always be pushing at 99%. If you're just going to be a casual idle player, don't worry about it too much. You're going to be getting 2 less Dragon Balls, but everything else is going to be essentially the same. It'll knock you back, 2 days of progress or whatever. Not a huge deal. So those are the season rewards. And I guess while I'm on this account, I can talk about the first recharge. First time you recharge, which means you buy pearls in any sort of way, you're going to get these top-up rewards. Shell statues are used to do essentially this. You'll get 2 hours of shells rewards. Same 2 hours of however many shells you would get per minute. Like the same thing with the quick battle as an experience. And some EXP statues, which is exactly like the quick battles, the free ones, not the ones that you pay for. They're not going to give you 10% attack bonus, but they'll give you 2 hours of experience. So if you're going to put some money into the game, you can look forward to that. Congratulations. I forgot to talk about this, so I'm adding it in because the magic of movie editing. One more thing I want to add in because I completely forgot is the manual. So we go to our manual. You can see the different stages we're going to unlock. So every stage you unlock in the first continent, you're going to unlock spells for, or skills. After the first continent, you will not unlock skills ever again. You'll have all your skills unlocked. After the first continent, you will also unlock. Here we go. Reaching Huru Fjord, which is Horu. Well, it says Huru on whatever. Horu Fjord. You'll know what I'm talking about once you get there. You'll unlock this evolve skill scroll. The only way to get that evolve skill scroll is if you go to the skill store and you draw a skill from the skill store. And that skill is specifically the legendary version of whatever skill it is that you can evolve. But yeah, that's the manual. You can see until you get there, you can't. It's all grayed out. You can't click on it. You can't see what it does. But you can see all the pets that you unlock. You can see all the foods that you can cook, and what pets are gonna like that food, and all that jazz. So manual is really useful if you're trying to get a specific pet. You can look through and see, what am I trying to get? Oh, I need a fire lightning pet, and I'm a tank. What does this guy like? Kebabs. Let me cook up some kebabs and see if I can get him. So that's now pretty much it, and I will see you guys in another video.